Our lives totally depend on the use of plastics. Look around you and see everything that contains plastic parts in the various forms. Then take all that away and even this video would stop playing. Almost all plastics are made from fossil fuel, oil or gas. A considerable part of fossil extraction goes towards plastic production, so it's good business for oil companies. Most chemical companies that produce plastics are closely linked or maybe even owned by big oil companies. With tighter emission regulations in the energy sector and the transport sectors too, the traditional markets for fossil fuels and the move towards alternatives, there's a big incentive to produce ever more plastic. Plastic recycling is a lie that was designed and spread by these same oil companies. It was much easier to convince the consumer that they have the responsibility of managing their trash, rather than designing materials that could fit into what we now call the circular economy. Listen to Roger. He says it as it is.
My name's Roger, and nothing matters more to me or my burning air poison company, Horton Oil, than demanding everybody huck their dirty plastic shapes into a differently colored bucket than where they throw their other equally useless trash. Why would an oil company care what you do with your portable sacks when you finish sucking the life-shortening sugar water from them? Because plastic is made from oil. And since each year your horseless carriages guzzle less and less car juice, we're shifting our focus to tripling plastic production by 2050. Whether we still have a planet or not.
Okay, so Roger has a sarcastic take on the issue. How about some people from the industry? So to keep the onus of managing the mess focused on the public by promoting recycling, they absolve themselves from taking any responsibility.
There was never an enthusiastic belief that recycling was ultimately going to work in a significant way.
I think they knew that the infrastructure wasn't there to really have recycling amount to a whole lot. If the public thinks the recycling is working, then they're not going to be as concerned about the environment.
Once plastic is made, it cannot be unmade. So most types of plastics, and there are thousands of varieties and combinations, will not go away for a very long time. Very few types can be truly recycled by melting them down, mixing the recycled bits into the new virgin soup. But only up to 5% of the new products can come from recycled stuff, or the end product is not strong enough. Some plastics can be repurposed. For example, chopped into chips and then use them in road and building construction as aggregate. In total, only around 10% of all plastics is recycled by these methods. Some other items can be repurposed too. For example, make planters out of bottles and cartons, be creative to make fancy lampshades, and so on. But even after the second or third life, they are still thrown into the trash. So what to do with all that plastic that just doesn't want to go away? Up to the 1970s, much of it, millions of tons each year, was just dumped into the oceans. Out of sight, out of mind. In the end, legislation put a stop to this. So realistically, we can use either of two options. One, bury it in landfills. This has been done for the longest time, but if we learn how to manage them better, they can eventually be regenerated and already are often used for regreening, recreational areas, or even housing construction. Or two, burn it to recover the energy from all that lovely oil that went into making them. Each kilo of plastic gives roughly the same energy as a kilo of coal. Of course, we have to catch all the poisonous gases the burning creates before they leave the chimney. But that's doable and not much different than what is done in modern coal and gas power stations. In the meantime, we, the people, including you, can actually help a lot and do our bit. That's where the 3 R's we've all been told come in. Reduce. Lowering the demand for new products by moving away from the throwaway mentality will decrease production. Stop buying cheap disposable stuff. Go for better quality and actually make it last so much longer. Legislation is slowly tackling the takeout food sector, but what about cheap disposable fashion? More sensible or less packaging? Reuse. Think twice before you throw something into the trash. Reuse the bottles and cartons to create a windowsill garden. Reuse that old t-shirt for a useful floor rack. Reuse that nylon string in the garden. Wait until you get that new latest smartphone. last year's is still working great. Doing these and more similar things, you also will find that you save yourself a ton of money. Recycle. Most true recycling of plastics is done on an industrial scale. However, the recycling we are encouraged to do at the household levels will remove plastic items from the communities, and they will end up at a collection place where they can be better managed. This helps to keep so much rubbish ending up in the streets, in the fields, rivers and the oceans. So it is important to follow the call of recycle as much as you can. Because in the end, it's better that your trash is part of the 10% that really is recycled rather than just littering the landscape. If you agree with us that we, the people, can achieve a massive positive impact by taking personal responsibility and do something, now, please like and subscribe to help us grow this channel. Thank you.